A spike in car break-ins in downtown Madison. I'm Tanisha Shaw covering what you should know to keep your belongings safe.
Plus, President Trump signs an executive order to pull federal money from NPR and PBS, the impacts it could have right here in Wisconsin. And Governor Tony Evers' response to the White House border czar over comments on his guidance to state workers who were approached by federal immigration officials. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6 live from Madison. Good evening. I'm Eric Franke. Sarah is off tonight. New at 6, Madison Police Department with a message for anyone parking downtown. Recently, MPD said it's had more car break-ins than usual. Our Tanisha Shaw sat down with an officer to learn more.
As the weather warms up, more people will be outside enjoying Madison.
There's a lot of people that are coming into the downtown area, especially on the weekends.
The Madison Police Department is asking everyone to be careful when parking downtown.
Analysts at Madison Police saying that we've had an increase we call them like theft from autos, so people that are breaking into cars and taking items out of cars.
MPD did not have the exact number of recent reports, but according to their public crime map, there has been nearly 20 reports of break-ins within the last month. Officer Anthony Vogel said it's common for crime rates to go up this time of the year.
Usually in the summer, once it warms up, I think all of our calls go up, just because due to the nice weather, there are more people out and about, and especially as more people are traveling to the Central District, we will see an increase in probably most of our call types.
When you arrive downtown, it's important to hide all your valuables before you get out the car. Things like your IDs and your headphones should be put in your glove box.
If people are just walking by your car and try to check your car door handle, the car doesn't open, if they don't see any belongings inside the vehicle, it makes it less likely that they're going to try and break into the vehicle to take whatever items those are.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. Now, if your car does get broken into, call 911 or you can call the Madison PD's non-emergency line. At least one person is dead after a crash along U.S. Highway 18151 near Barneveld today. The crash reported just before 1 this afternoon at the intersection with County Highway K. According to law enforcement at the scene, it involved a semi and a car. No word yet on if there are any more victims. The crash has been blocking traffic on the highway. It should be up and running any time now. A man is in jail after allegedly robbing two people at gunpoint just before 12:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday. Madison officers responded to Tree Lane on the west side off South Gammon Road. Someone called police and reported that he and his friend had met a suspect to sell him a pair of expensive shoes. And when they met, the suspect robbed the two with a gun. And police later arrested the man, who's now facing 2 counts of armed robbery. Some spotty rain chances for tonight yet. First warn meteorologist Blaze Keller with a look at your certified most accurate forecast live out on our weather patio right here in Madison. Blaze?
That's right. You know, the first warn weather app let me know that there was heavy rain in my location here in southwestern Madison, and that is the case. We got a little bit of ponding outside in the patio as some rain showers continue to move across southern Wisconsin. So we'll start off here looking at radar 3000, and then we'll take it in closer to home. But these are all developing along what we call a surface trough, and so that's going to continue to move eastward as we go throughout the rest of this evening. Heavy rain across Dane County with those yellows and oranges, primarily over Mount Horeb and then right overhead into Wanakee as well. We'll take it up north into Juneau and Adams County, where some of that rain activity has tapered off a little bit, but still some sprinkles out near Watoma and south and east of Rome. And then we find more of that consistent light to moderate rain activity across pretty much all of Rock County, Janesville, Beloit, Footville, Evansville, even back into Broadhead and Monticello, dealing with some of that light rain as well. That's going to continue through the rest of this evening. We'll hang out in the 40s underneath those mostly cloudy conditions, but the rain will wrap up for the weekend, but it does return starting Sunday night, so we'll track out that in the full forecast.
Blaze, thank you. President Trump is going after NPR and PBS. This after signing an executive order aimed at cutting their funding. It directs the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to end federal funding for National Public Radio and the public broadcasting system. The CPB has a budget of more than $500 million to fund public radio and television. Congress specifically set it up as a private entity to protect it from governmental interference and control. Many prominent Republicans, though, have been vocal about public broadcasters due to a perceived left-leaning bias in how they cover the news. Today on Live at 4, PBS's Wisconsin director of television talked about what could be at risk.
We invented services to schools going back as early as the early 30s, and that continues as we provide learning media to classrooms in Wisconsin about Wisconsin content That's a really valuable service, loved by teachers, used by teachers all over the state. So I think those are the kind of things that are at risk here with a funding cut.
Public Broadcasting Wisconsin is also the infrastructure for emergency and weather alerts. Today, CPB's CEO said the funds have already been appropriated and the nonprofit will respond quickly. This executive order will almost definitely be challenged in court. We take a live look at the state capitol, where Voces de la Frontera has just finished holding a Day Without Immigrants and Workers rally. Demonstrators are demanding justice for immigrants and the working community, including providing driver's licenses for all, accessible education, and stopping the collaboration between ICE and county sheriffs. The White House responding to a memo Governor Tony Evers sent to state employees last month on what to do if ICE shows up at their workplace. That memo tells employees to immediately notify their supervisor, ask agents for documentation of why they are there, contact their office's attorney, and avoid answering questions. Now, that includes not giving ICE access to confidential data and information. The president's border czar, Tom Homan, was asked about his thoughts on the governor's memo earlier this week.
Wait to see what's coming.
Any updates on the military?
I meant what I said. You can not support what we're doing. And you can support sanctuary cities. That's what you want to do. But if you cross that line of impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien, that is a felony. And we're treated as such.
And we do have a response from the governor. He addressed Homan's comments in a video address today.
I haven't broken the law. I haven't committed a crime. And I've never encouraged or directed anyone to break any laws or commit any crimes. Overnight, Republican lawmakers piled on, encouraging the Trump administration to arrest me. Showing threats like this should be of concern to every Wisconsinite and every American who cares about this country and the values held here.
The White House has not responded to the governor's comments. As Republicans in Congress consider sharp cuts to Medicaid to enact the president's agenda, Democrats are hearing from constituents who are concerned. Senator Tammy Baldwin was here in Madison today to attend a roundtable on Medicaid. Her visit follows a report earlier this week that Wisconsin could lose billions of dollars in federal Medicaid funds over the next decade if the GOP enacts the budget. In Wisconsin, it comes after GOP Representative Brian Stile of Janesville said he wants to see work requirements for Medicaid.
Achieving the savings that they're talking about from imposing work requirements for them is not feasible.
Well, the House Energy and Commerce Committee is planning to meet next week to finalize and advance a portion of the bill, which includes Medicaid cuts. One Wisconsin official has been arrested related to federal immigration enforcement. Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan, of course, faces those charges of obstruction of justice stemming from actions that took place in the judge's courtroom. The complaint against the judge alleges she tried to help a person in her court avoid arrest by immigration officials. Now, we spoke with UW legal expert John Gross about what kind of impact this will have on Wisconsin's court system.
This is, I think, an extreme reaction and one which is sort of out of character with the way in which traditionally federal and state law enforcement officials and judges have respected one another and cooperated with one another.
He says he's seen other instances where law enforcement wants to make an arrest in court. It's usually more collaborative, and this is something ICE was likely already working with the Milwaukee County Court on best how to conduct law enforcement without disrupting proceedings. And you can see more of this conversation Sunday on For the Record at 10:30 on Sunday morning. A new report from the Wisconsin Policy Forum shows in order for Sun Prairie to maintain its fire and EMS response levels, the city may need a new approach. In recent years, Sun Prairie has extended its EMS service area, stopped serving a nearby town, converted its once private fire department to a city agency, and faced the loss of veteran part-time firefighters. All of this as responses from city firefighters actually tripled. Those calls tripled between 2014 and 2024. Researchers suggest the city revisit agreements with Marshall and other towns, which are set to expire at the end of this year. The researchers also found a small number of addresses make up a disproportionate number of the city's EMS calls. They suggest the city could benefit from adopting mobile integrated health care, in which paramedics work proactively with frequent callers to prevent emergencies, reducing future calls. And another option is simply a referendum asking people who live in Sun Prairie to exceed state-imposed limits on the city's property tax levy, which is used for city operations. Still ahead at 6, why you may want to hurry up in that search for a new vehicle. Plus, new data shows more people are turning to buy now, pay later services for everyday needs like groceries. The warning from financial experts on the risk of relying on those services. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back to our studio here in Madison. Amidst the talks of tariffs and a new report that the U.S. economy is going in reverse, Americans are utilizing Buy Now, Pay Later loans, or BNPL, to buy everyday items. And while these loans are not new, it is how people are using them that has changed. A study by LendingTree found that a quarter of Buy Now, Pay Later users say they've used the loans to buy groceries. That's up from 14% just a year ago. Meanwhile, 2/3 say they'd consider using loans for food delivery. Finance experts warn these loans could be a slippery slope of overspending and debt accumulation.
With late fees, $7 per missed payment. You get hit with a crazy APR of up to 34% with Klarna if you miss these payments.
And experts agree with tariff talks and the U.S. economy having its worst quarter since 2022. These kinds of loans are likely here to stay. If you shop online at Amazon Haul, Temu, or Shein, you might notice higher prices. The long-standing duty-free deal for Chinese imports worth $800 or less is over. That means all low-value packages from China will now carry duty fees. That's due to executive action from President Trump last month. Now, an affected item sent via the postal system carries a 120% duty or a $100 fee. On June 1st, the flat cost option will rise to $200. Well, it is a taxing time for automakers, and soon enough, buyers will feel the squeeze as well. Starting tomorrow, a 25% tax on imported vehicles and auto parts takes effect. In an attempt to soften the blow, the Trump administration announced it'll spare auto parts from a so-called double tariff after Trump imposed a tax on foreign metals. Automakers can also apply for price offsets as incentives to ramp up domestic production.
Prices are going to go up. And when prices go up, sales slump. Basically, there's 16,000 car dealers in the United States who employ 1.1 million Americans. They're going to lose basically a month of sales due to this price increase.
And despite the concessions, U.S. automakers predict a rough road ahead. General Motors this week warned shareholders that the tariffs on imported cars and parts could cost the company $5 billion this year alone. Car shoppers can save if they're willing to buy now. Vehicles already on dealership lots are not subject to the new tariffs. More news from southern Wisconsin up next, where you can go get a little piece of the Memorial Union Terrace. Plus, prom is going to the dogs. How a local pet resort is putting a tail-wagging twist on that tradition. And how's the weather looking for the weekend? Blaze returns your complete forecast when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Now, want to own a piece of Madison culture and support the community at the same time? The Wisconsin Union selling limited edition mini chairs inspired by the iconic terrace furniture. They'll join the lineup of other mini chairs the Union has sold in the past. But these ones have a bit of a twist. All proceeds from the chairs will go to UW-Madison's food pantry, the Open Seat. The new mini chairs feature the word open in the center. You can buy them in person for $16.99 at Memorial Union or Union South, or online at the Terrace store. There are only 864 chairs available, so you better get out there and get yours soon. Fishing season is here. Starting tomorrow, Wisconsin's inland fishing season begins statewide. And this year, the Department of Natural Resources is debuting its Fish Finder app. This will help anglers find launch locations and access points, fishing regulations, and much more. Residents and non-residents 16 and older must purchase a fishing license. They can be purchased online or at registered locations. Annual resident license costs $20 each. However, a spousal license is $31. For more information and reminders, you can visit our website, channel3000.com. And it'll be a beautiful weekend to get out on the water. Blaze now with southern Wisconsin's complete forecast.
And we're looking at less rain, certainly over the weekend. We're dealing with a few showers now. Those will continue throughout the rest of the evening and overnight. But Saturday into Sunday, a high pressure system is going to move on in, and that's going to dry out the atmosphere. And it's going to also help clear out some of these clouds throughout Saturday morning, leaving us with more sunshine by the afternoon. So if we can do this sooner rather than later, Future Track is at 4:30, and we're sitting underneath mostly clear skies on Saturday. But if we can do that sooner, temperatures will be able to climb into the low 60s on Saturday. If not, we keep the partly sunny conditions around. We're looking at mid to upper 50s on Saturday. Sunday will start off sunnier, and then as the day goes on, clouds are going to move on in because our first of two low pressure systems moving slowly across the United States. It's going to be kind of jamming up the jet stream, and it's going to be retrograding, which is just a very fancy term for moving backwards. We usually see weather go from west to east. This low pressure system is going to be moving from the southeast to the northwest. So as we go throughout Sunday, expect those clouds to increase with that rain overnight into Monday, but we're looking at upper 50s and possibly the low 60s on Saturday. We'll be in those low to mid 60s on Sunday. So a good weekend to get out and at least get a little bit of sunshine, because we haven't had a whole lot in the last couple of days. Now, that low pressure system that brings us the rain Sunday night into Monday is one of two that essentially get stuck. They are cut off from the jet stream, so nothing's moving them along the atmospheric river. The jet stream instead next week is going to be pushed into parts of Canada. So what that means is twofold for us. We're going to be warmer because we're going to be underneath the ridge of that jet stream, and when you're underneath that, you get warmer temperatures. But because these low pressure systems jam up the jet stream and force it northwards, no other systems are going to move across the United States. So we're not going to get a whole lot of rain. Instead, we're going to get pretty much the same temperatures and just hit or miss chances for rain as we go throughout next week. Upper 60s to low 70s starting Tuesday through at least Saturday of next week, and even beyond that, we're looking at the low 70s that following Sunday and Monday. Because these systems are jammed up, no new systems can move in, bringing us either rain or cooler or warmer temperatures. So we'll sit underneath a pretty similar air mass all throughout next week. Now, I've walked Future Track or moved Future Track all the way through our extended forecast. So this is not next Monday, this is the following Monday. Take a look at how little rain we could receive during this dry period. Just a 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain, maybe an isolated 1/2 an inch of rain. But that's not necessarily bad. We will still get rain chances even underneath this drier period, but we're not going to get washout 1 to 1.5 inches of rain, which is some good news and some bad news. We still have some dry areas across central and southern Wisconsin, and we also need to dry up the ground a little bit as we continue on in the planting and growing season. 50s tomorrow. Again, if we clear out the clouds earlier, we could get into the 60s. We'll be there on Sunday. And then, as I mentioned, 70s, upper 60s to low 70s Tuesday through that following Monday.
Blaze, thank you. As prom season gets underway, a local doggy daycare is getting in on the fun with their own version of the tradition. Earlier today, Green Acres Pet Resort hosted a supper club-inspired dog prom. Some activities included the prime rib relay races, a martini yappy hour, musical mats, water fountain fun, and of course, got to have a dance floor.
And some of them have been through prom and some of our other events before, so they know the drill. They have a good time. They come in blazing, ready to have a good time.
Pet owners could also get a prom portrait of their favorite pup. The money raised from that will be used to benefit Dane County Humane Society.
And coming up in sports, the Packers kicked off rookie minicamp today. What their two new wideouts have to say about them what they're bringing to the team. That's next on News 3 Now. It's a huge night at the Kohl Center for Greg Gard. It's the 8th annual Guarding Against Cancer signature event, which tips off at 7:45 tonight. This year's theme, a garden party. Now, the goal since Greg and his wife started it was to raise money and awareness to fight the disease. And since 2016, they've raised over $9 million to benefit research and patient care right here in Wisconsin.
The ability to keep the money right here in Wisconsin and put 90+% of it right to work with research down the road at Carbone. And people feel the impact. There's a tangible impact.
Finally, we're on the same team. I think we make a hell of a team, the two of us, and we're finally on the same team. And it's great, you know. I mean, this cause is special. You get, 600-700 people here. I mean, how do you beat that? And you know, it's the one time where everybody's on the same team.
In other Wisconsin basketball news, John Tonje has officially been invited to the NBA Draft Combine. In his lone year at UW, Tonje led the Badgers in scoring, averaging nearly 20 points and 5 rebounds per game, earning him second-team All-American honors. The Combine runs from May 11th through the 18th in Chicago. The Packers did something in this year's draft that they've never done before in franchise history when they took 2 receivers in the first 3 rounds. Well, those 2, along with the rest of the rookie class, were all in Titletown for day 1 of rookie minicamp. And as far as what Matthew Golden and Savion Williams plan to bring to the Packers, simple: versatility and speed. That soundbite did not work. Well, in case you missed it last night, Trent Frederick pushed the Oilers on to the next round thanks to his series-clinching goal in the second period. The former Badger comes sliding in to tap the puck in for his first goal as an Edmonton Oiler. And you can check back in tonight at 10. We'll hopefully hear from the Packers on what they had to say.
They were speechless. It's been quite a week. Zach, thank you. Tonight at 10, a family-owned flower shop is coming to a close after 41 years in business. We've all seen George's flowers through the years, and our Maddie Heimsch's The Legacy the Family is Leaving Behind. That's tonight on News 3 Now at 10. And Blaze is back. One final check of the forecast.
Showers still moving their way slowly across central and southern Wisconsin, mainly staying south of Columbia County. So just get ready for the showers to continue through the rest of this evening. You can track it all on our First Warn weather app if you're going to head out later this evening. 50s and 60s this weekend, a little bit drier with clouds decreasing on Saturday and then increasing on Sunday. Then we're sitting in the 70s starting Tuesday.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. Thanks for joining us at 6. Have a great evening. We'll be back here tonight for News 3 Now at 10.